A health alert about a new study looking at microplastics.
They've been found in almost every organ in the body, as well as in the bloodstream.
The amount of plastic particles scientists are finding in our bodies, in this case inside the brain.
Really convenient to use the plastic.
Yeah.
Plastic's everywhere. You make it convenient. This dumb animal keeps using the plastic. As it keeps using the plastic, then its species becomes less and less viable.
Chances are if you clicked on this video you've heard of microplastics. Microplastics are about the size of a sesame seed and regarded as tiny fragments of plastic smaller than 5 millimeters. But I doubt you've heard of the real danger, which is even smaller: nanoplastics. They are so small, 1,000 times thinner than a human hair, invisible to the naked eye. Too small for normal microscopes, scientists need specialized imaging to even detect them. And because of their size, nanoplastics can slip into your cells, burrow into your organs, even cross into your brain. Think of it this way: microplastics are like crumbs. Nanoplastics are the dust from those crumbs, invisible, impossible to clean up, and far more dangerous. Scientists are linking microplastics to dementia, infertility, hormone disruption, and even cancer. Plastics have 3 main doorways into your body. Smallest route, but still alarming, is through skin contact. Second biggest contributor is through breathing. And the largest pathway by far, digestion. Plastics are in almost everything we eat or drink. Bottled water, just 1 liter, can hold tens of thousands of microplastics. Tea bags, they can release billions of nanoplastics in boiling water. Instant rice, up to 4 times more plastics than raw rice. Even sea salt is contaminated worldwide. Nearly every tested brand contains microplastics. There is no maybe about it. You are consuming. And the number 1 plastic? Polyethylene. It shows up at the top of microplastic studies time and time again. Polyethylene makes up about 1/3 of all plastics produced worldwide. It doesn't break down easily, and it's rarely pure, but it almost always carries other chemicals with it. One of the most common is BPA, bisphenol A. BPA, or bisphenol A, is a chemical added to plastic to make it strong, look clear, and to line cans so that they don't rust. However, BPA is leaked into your food, into your drinks, entering your body through direct contact with plastics. According to research, once inside, BPA mimics estrogen and blocks testosterone, acting like a fake hormone. Disrupts thyroid hormones, your body's energy managers, damages DNA, raises cancer risk, and wrecks fertility. BPA exposure has been linked to cancers of the breast, ovary, uterus, prostate, and testicles. And BPA isn't alone. Manufacturers also use phthalates, chemicals added to plastics to make them softer and more flexible. When it comes down to amounts, tests show canned food can hold up to 267 micrograms per kilogram of BPA, milk up to 175, fish up to 103. A microgram sounds microscopic, right? Let's make it real. A grain of table salt weighs about 60 micrograms. So when tests say canned food can hold up to 267 micrograms per kilogram of BPA, that's about 4 to 5 grains of salt worth of plastic chemicals in your meal. Milk at 175 micrograms, about 3 grains of salt. Fish at 103 micrograms, about 2 grains of salt. Doesn't sound like much, but BPA is a hormone disrupting chemical. You're not supposed to be eating any of it. And this isn't a one-time thing. It's every sip, every bite, every single day. In 2022, the BPA market was worth well over $22 billion. Heat makes things worse. A 2023 study heated common plastics, containers, and reusable food pouches under real-life conditions. Refrigeration, room temperature, a hot car, and the microwave. The results? Even at room temperature, plastics leaked measurable amounts. In the microwave, one container released almost a whole sesame seed's worth of plastic into the food just from one heating cycle. To give an example, That's like you heating up food for your baby, and your baby swallowing a sesame seed size of plastic with their meal. According to a 2023 study published in Frontiers in Public Health, that's how many particles of microplastics you breathe in every day. 553. Invisible bits of plastic floating in the air, dust you can't see, that come from anything made of plastic. Your clothes, your furniture, your packaging, even the mask on your face. Over a year, that number becomes 200,000. 200,000 particles every year. By weight, it adds up to less than a grain of salt. But it's not harmless. These are sharp plastic fragments that can be grinding into your lungs. And over the average lifespan, about 16 million particles, the weight of about 5 sesame seeds, trapped into your body from nothing more than breathing. It's not about the weight, it's about the fact that millions of tiny plastics are entering a place they were never meant to be in, your lungs. Over time, these particles lodge deep inside your lungs, possibly entering the alveoli, which are tiny air sacs where oxygen moves into your blood. Once there, plastics can trigger inflammation and scarring. Nanoplastics are so small they can slip through pores or damage skin. Synthetic clothing fabrics such as polyester, nylon, and acrylic can shed microfibers that can settle into your skin. And the worst of all, receipts. Receipts, tickets, and boarding passes are coated with BPA. Just holding one transfers BPA straight through your fingertips. A dry hand holding a receipt can get as much as 7 to 71 micrograms of exposure. That's like swallowing a grain of salt's worth of BPA just from touching paper. With hand sanitizer, BPA transfer skyrockets to 185 to 500 micrograms in just minutes. Imagine you're a cashier working an 8-hour shift. Every time you hand out a receipt, it's like a pool of BPA sliding into your skin. By the end of the day, you've absorbed hundreds of micrograms, the equivalent of eating plastic chemicals with your lunch, without ever realizing it. Once inside, plastics travel everywhere. Scientists are finding microplastics wherever they look in the human body. The most alarming places? Blood, placenta, breast milk, testicles, brain. Let's begin with the blood. A Dutch study tested healthy adults. 77% had plastics floating in their blood. PET from bottles, polystyrene from packaging, and polyethylene from bags. Plastics in the blood can trigger immune cells to attack them, leading to chronic inflammation. Even a single drop of blood carried shards of plastic, and since blood travels everywhere, so do plastics. A study in Italy tested 6 healthy pregnant women. 4 of them tested positive for plastic particles inside their placentas. The fragments showed up in 3 places: the maternal side, where the mother's blood flows, the fetal side, suggesting plastics could reach the baby directly, and the choriomatic membranes, the protective sac surrounding the fetus. The placenta is supposed to be a shield, filtering out harmful substances before they ever reach the baby. The study was small and scientists didn't prove direct harm to the babies, but the implications are alarming. Plastics in the placenta could disrupt cell signaling or hormone regulation, affecting growth and organ development. They could trigger immune responses tied to pregnancy complications. Let's not forget that plastics carry hormonal disrupting chemicals like BPA. The researchers were cautious in their conclusions, but step back and think about it. Developing baby, the most fragile stage of human life, surrounded by plastic particles. How could that not raise concern? Later, the same researchers tested breast milk. Out of the 34 women, 26 tested positive. 76% of mothers had plastic inside. And lifestyle, diet, or product use didn't matter. Exposure was nearly universal. In 2023, researchers tested 47 dogs and 23 human testicles. Every single one tested positive. Humans had on average 3 times more plastics than dogs. The average man had the equivalent of half a grain of rice worth of plastic lodged inside his testicles. Polyethylene, the most common plastic in the world, was the dominant type. And here's the worst part. A 2025 Nature Medicine study tested autopsies and found microplastics in every organ they tested. On average, liver, 433 micrograms per gram, kidneys, 404, with the brain, 4,131 micrograms per gram. That's 7 to 30 times more plastic than the other organs. Take the average human brain, about 1,300 grams. Multiply it by the average microplastic concentration, 4,131 micrograms. That equals about 5.37 grams of plastic. In simple terms, that is the weight of a plastic spoon sitting inside the brain of the average person when they die. And for dementia patients, 26,000 micrograms, 5 times higher than non-dementia. That works out to nearly 34 grams of plastic, the equivalent of 6 spoons lodged inside a single brain. Scientists emphasize that this is correlation, not proven causation, but finding spoonfuls of plastic in the very organ that defines your memory and your identity raises serious questions about what role microplastics may play in diseases like dementia. Similarly, patients with inflammatory bowel disease were found to have about 50% more microplastics in their stool compared to healthy controls. Just like dementia patients showing higher levels in the brain, these findings suggest that when the body is already weakened by diseases, it may accumulate even more plastics. It raises an unsettling possibility. Once illness takes hold, whether dementia, IBD, or even cancer, could those damaged tissues act like magnets for microplastics, concentrating them where the body is already most vulnerable? In mice, polystyrene disrupted the energy supply in neurons, causing Parkinson's-like brain changes. Other studies found plastics damaging the hippocampus, the memory center of the brain. Some even link maternal plastic exposure to offspring with the autism-like behaviors. Scientists think plastics are tearing at the gut lining, creating what's called leaky gut, where toxins and bacteria slip into the blood and trigger chronic inflammation. In the liver, our main detox organ, is no escape. In lab studies, plastics cause immune cells to swarm the tissue, leaving behind fibrosis and scars. The very organ designed to clean our blood is itself being dirtied. And remember, plastics aren't just particles. They carry toxic hitchhikers, chemicals like BPA and phthalates that act like fake hormones linked to infertility, cancer, and metabolic disease. BPA-free isn't safe either. It's usually swapped out with BPS or BPF, which is just as harmful as BPA. So this isn't just about swallowing a few stray particles. Plastics accumulate in the brain, the lungs, the gut, and the liver. We're only beginning to see how deep they've gone, and every year these numbers rise. The amount of microplastics in the brain has increased by 51.5% since 2016 to 2024, according to scientists. The curve is climbing, not slowing down. Plastics don't pass through, they embed, they scar, they poison. From our children to our reproductive organs to our brain, they are becoming a part of us. Today's generation is growing up with a biology marked by plastic.